Hello everyone, today in this video we will fight against the advanced character of our world around us, and this time we will talk about one very toxic, actually toxic for entire humanity, relationships. We know that people can be with each other within the relationships, but the term relationship can be also extended for the organizations or briefly speaking groups of people. And the relationship I would like to talk about today is the long-lasting relationship between socialists of any color, red, brown, or green nowadays, and big companies. That their relationship is really strong and very profound. Why is it like this? Because if one just uh, looks at it from the for the first time, when one takes a first glimpse, it's really surprising, thinking that big companies that are associated with so-called capitalism, the term that it's not well understood widely, how can they be in relationship, big friends, big even lovers, I would even say, of socialists, and vice versa. It's very simple. Socialists do not want to work, they only have stupid ideas they would like to implement into the reality. But to take an attempt to implement your stupid ideas into the reality, one needs money. And big companies have a lot of money, but CEOs and people who are ruling the big companies, yes, they have money, but they would like to have bigger money. So, and there is such agreement. It's a natural tendency to meet each other and to collaborate with each other. Why? Because socialists give to the companies which support them and help them to win the elections and keep the power. Socialists give them monopoly for their economic activity. So if you have monopoly, you don't have competition. If you don't have competition, you grab entire profit for yourself. And this is the reason why socialists and big corporations love each other so much. Please take a look at nowadays Google or Amazon, for instance, and many others. These companies are supporting every silly ideas of modern green left like LGB, RPQ and whatever, and all of this inclusiveness, exclusiveness or whateverness they supported. And left organizations actually are members of left organizations are having this what they want, so power, good life, and influences and money. But the companies have what they want, monopoly, so they have even bigger money. So this is this toxic relationship for entire humanity, because companies think only about the profits, and leftist activists think only about keeping the power, profits, and good life without work, and introducing their stupid ideas into the reality. Now the question is this thing, this relationship, something new? No, it's not something new, because from the history with brown socialists, so national socialist, history was practically the same, because there was a consortium of German companies of chemical industry that was functioning under the name IG Farben, and IG Farben was also a supporter of National Socialist Party, and after the conquering new lands, National Socialist Party, of course, was giving on the territories they were ruling monopoly to this company for their economic activity. And one should remember that in the Polish city Oświęcim, known commonly as Auschwitz, close to this city, there was the one of the largest in history a chemical set of chemical factories, and of course these factories were functioning under the leadership and the banner of IG Farben. So we see that this marriage between big industry and socialist activist is nothing new, and there is natural tendency for them to come to each other. Socialists, as I mentioned, do not want to work, they need money, and they want money to introduce their stupid ideas into the world. Big corporations have money, and they want to have bigger money. But to have bigger money, one needs to have monopoly for his or her own economic activity. And now we have this mortal circle that closes. And this is the reason why officially great capitalists who are the CAOs and owner CAOs actually, because there is also separation of owner and company recently. So CAOs are fulfilling the definition of capitalists because they are intervening into the market with their own money, big money, and they are intervening in the market with their own money. Of course, for their own profits. They are not doing it for because of the altruistic reasons. No. So here I am recalling the definition of the capitalist proposed by great French historian of the 20th century, one of the fathers of economic history, Fernand Braudel. Fernand Braudel actually claimed that it's not so easy to define capitalism. Of course, he admitted it, but he defined capitalist. Capitalist is someone who, as I mentioned, is taking his or her own money or resources, intervening into the market for his or her own benefits. So the funny thing is that big corporations fulfill the definition of capitalist only in this sense, but also looking into their internal structure, we see that they are resembling more and more socialist working places, socialist factories, socialist administration, and socialist offices. One should mention that one of the main goals of current elite, so green socialists like the ones from World Economic Forum, that should be called a World Ideological Forum because it has nothing to do with economy, their ultimate goal, it's clear, seems to be as follows: that majority of people would be employed either in the budgetary sector, so administration, teachers, and so on, or in the big corporations. The rest, of course, would be kept on the minimal income. This is the ideal situation they would like to have. Of course, it will not work and it will collapse, causing a lot of damage like all of the socialistic ideas. But unfortunately, we are repeating this painful history, it seems. But let's take a look. If one works only in the budgetary sector or in the big corporations, that it's actually with no difference because big corporations are reminding more and more big structures of budgetary sectors, and within even big corporations there are many people employed without well specified function and duties. They are kept there to be I would say supporters of the system because they are beneficiaries of the system. So it is assumed that these people, if something happens, will support the system, will defend their own company. So there are many people who are also in big companies employed without any, as I said, well-defined duties, and they can be called passengers. Simply this person enters the company and simply travels through his or her entire professional, I don't like this word career, so through his or her professional time, employment, they are only traveling, doing nothing. They are simply resembling passengers, but they are needed in case company, so CAOs and people who are behind it, needs to be defended, or when it's needed to have electorate on the elections. So we see that nowadays even big corporations resemble socialist offices or socialist budgetary entities, budgetary structures. Many of unnecessary people who have nothing to do. So we see that here at this historical point, our elites, at least huge part of it, are aiming to build another version of the socialism, together, of course, with big corporations that are, if they are too big, are also starting to resemble huge budgetary structures of state administration and so on. And that's why they like socialism so much, because, as I mentioned, they have money, socialists needs money, and they need monopolies to have bigger money. And this is a very toxic relationship for entire humanity, almost entire humanity nowadays. And we need to oppose it, otherwise the socialist ideologists and CEOs from big companies, because of their greed, will prepare another hell, socialistic hell for us. It's already under preparation. That's why we need to be aware, we need to be united, and we need to protest. Because if we protest, if we are organized, government will not hurt us. But we should also remember that government was never, is not, and seemingly will never be our friend. Someone needs to rule, but we need to remember that the only aim of the government is to keep the power, nothing else. That's why people need to be aware, always press the government, force them to do this, what's needed for the population. All the best, have a nice day, bye.